Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Ask, Learn, Grow, the show where the Reef team answer questions and share updates and insights from the digital marketing industry. I've got Performance Manager Andrew Tam with me today, and Andrew's going to be sharing some observations and thoughts around how the pandemic has affected things recently over the last few months and now and moving forwards. So Andrew, do you want to give us a bit of an overview of the context of what it is that you're about to be talking about?
Okay, sure. Well, I've just thought it'd be an interesting topic to talk about because during the coronavirus pandemic, it's changed almost every aspect of our life, how we're living, how we're working, how we're connecting with friends, what we're buying and how we're buying it. So it's really affected a lot of consumer behavior. So we saw early in the pandemic, for instance, there was a lot of demand for people buying home gym equipment because the gyms were closed. They wanted to be able to exercise at home.
I tried to, but it was all sold out.
Yeah, I found that too. It was a bit of a challenge. And we all know with the groceries, there's been like an increase in the amount of people buying groceries just because they're at home more, they're cooking more. And so there's just that different demand around this time. So I've seen many changes, some of which happened at the time and have dissipated now. And some of those like groceries, that's been quite sustained really. So there's just quite interesting behavior. So that's what I thought I'd talk about today.
Okay. And have you've noticed some changes in the wider market and in the world, nationally and locally. What about clients that you work on? Have you noticed any clients pivoting, and how have they been adapting?
Yeah, there's been a big variety in how clients have approached, the challenge of coronavirus. With some clients, they were unfortunately in industries like tourism where they just couldn't operate during that time. So they were in a bit of a tough situation. So there wasn't anywhere they could really pivot. But there were some other industries where they were offering services and training. And a lot of these industries have pivoted to be able to provide, say, online training courses or online or over the phone services. So that pivot there has allowed them to keep operating and keep providing those services to their customers. It was just very important for us also to make sure we updated the ads so that people knew that they could access those services online or over the phone when there were all the restrictions with face-to-face meetings.
And so not just updating the ads for clients that have sort of pivoted and changed services, but also updating the ads so that they don't come across tone deaf as well to what's going on, running unless certain messaging is adapted to what's kind of going on in the world. It could have a negative effect on the sentiment from the customer.
Yeah. To understand how that consumer is feeling and to be able to let them know that these services are still being provided. We're still there for you. We can provide these services for you. So, that caring and connecting type of copy.
On the consumers then, have you noticed, what kind of changes have you noticed in consumer behaviour throughout the last couple of months?
Yeah, well, it was interesting. Like I was looking at some data for New South Wales. So we had the most restrictive, most restrictions on from the March to May period where people couldn't go out and see their friends or go and visit places. So what I noticed during that period was there was an increase in desktop usage. And a reduction in mobile usage at that time, just because if people are at home, they just found the desktop much more handy just to access information or do more things on. So that's what I really saw that increase during that time. And then in New South Wales, I saw after around that June time when cafes and restaurants and pubs started being open more, even though in an albeit more a limited capacity, people started going out more, going on holidays again, even if it was just within New South Wales. So they started being on their mobiles again. So it was just interesting to see that shift during that 2 to 3 month period.
And what about looking forward then? Where do you sort of see things over the kind of coming months in terms of sort of clients, consumers, and anything else?
Yeah, I think at the moment things are just unpredictable. So I think the main thing is just to keep abreast of the latest and make sure you're monitoring how the consumers and society is behaving, and seeing what government regulations are in place or relaxed, because all those things just will I suppose adapt to evolve the situation. But I think there's no doubt that over this period of lockdown, where people had the really restricted movements, there was really an acceleration of the move to digital, I suppose, connection. So that the demand for online services and online training services definitely increased, whether it's just receiving the services that way or even online shopping. And one of the interesting things is that if you provide the services online, it can actually open up bigger markets, because the people don't have to physically be there. It could be other states of Australia or even other countries, if they can access your services there. For instance, if you're running training courses, could open up new markets for you.
Or digital marketing services, it applies to us as well.
Definitely, people are spending a lot of time online these days.
And it's the with everyone sort of shifting to the, like, distributed working, it kind of breaks down a lot of the barriers that might have been faced before, with people feeling like they needed to do certain things in person, whereas a lot of companies have found that they actually don't and can operate quite well from a distributed model. So it does unlock new markets as well, like you said. For some industries, obviously, of course, others have been hit quite hard. But great. Okay, so the in terms of what you actually do in deliver performance media strategies, would you, the kind of main, I guess, takeaway from your side would be that you're going to make sure you stay a lot closer to what's going on, and make sure that you're obviously on top of all the ad copies and the messaging, and working closely with the client to adapt, continue to evolve as things develop. Yeah,
it's just more continual adaptation, and keeping finger on the pulse, really.
Cool. Okay. That kind of wraps up today's call. So if you've got any questions about the sort of current situation in relation to digital marketing or any digital marketing related topic, do send them in. We're always happy to help. If you'd like to put a question to the team or a problem and for us to cover in a future video, send those in too, and we'll see what we can do. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel to be notified when the next video is available. Apart from that, thanks all for watching, and enjoy the rest of the day.